I'm going to address a very touchy subject, the presidential elections here in the United States. Are you ready for this? Because I have something new to share with you. I hope it makes sense. It may take some practice to break some conditioning, but I know you can do it, and if you do this with me, things could look very different for our future in the globe. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. Whew, I just went on a walk. It was amazing. It's gorgeous out there. And I got this thought, this download, this message that things can be different. They are different already. Obviously, we've created everything. We can change anything. Everything that you see that is unpleasant is the effect and from the cause of what we've been doing up to this point. Stuff just doesn't happen to us. We contribute to it. Now, if you don't believe that, that's okay. Stick with me here. We're going to talk about the presidential elections. What does that look like? Well, I'm going to share something with you that is incredibly powerful, and it starts with the fact that we have been living in a very programmed, conditioned society that puts others in power to make decisions for us, and we're placing it into a system that has been ego-driven and corrupt for a very long time. No matter who we place in that system, and I used to work on Capitol Hill, what you'll see is even the most meaningful and let's just say positive, community-driven people that go in there thinking they can make change realize it's not really possible. It is going to have to take a lot more. I'm going to tell you what that lot more is. What would happen is they, in order to stay in that position, because all these people had power, would have to compromise. Always deals going on. Well, if you do this for me, then I'll do this for you. And that's not speaking for the people. That's speaking for the few that want to control the people. And so those people that mean well start to go down that pathway and they realize it's much bigger than them. But I want to ask you a question. What's bigger than them? What? Not that 1% in control. It's us. Now, Americans, if you're here in the United States, they don't like to be told what to do. They don't like ultimatums. They like choices. And freedom comes in a package often with, let's just say, rules. A lot of people will say that they want freedom, but it's according to their rules. Real freedom is choice. Now, here's what's going to happen in the next elections if we, the people, stick to what we know can be the incredible new earth and great awakening, the new golden era that we can transition into. This is a personal choice of yours. What we do and can do isn't about who we elect and put into office. I'm going to tell you that instead of focusing on that, your power lies in your choices right now. And so when somebody tells you what you can and can't do, instead of rebelling and complaining and saying somebody else has to be empowered to tell us what to do, we, the community, wield amazing power. Now, if you look at the civil rights movement and all the other movements, what did they do? Many times they went into violence, but yeah, that's the old way of doing things. But the most powerful movements were of peace. And when we come together as a massive community in peace, and we start to make choices, sometimes they're unpleasant. That means you might have to give up certain things or not do certain things or not go to certain places that you liked before. What happens is change has to happen in the collective higher-ups that realize they don't really have power and control over us. Now, those of you who have had to make choices or have no choices, have told that you're going to lose your positions in whatever you're doing for a living. Well, what do? I'm constantly saying, go over here, create your own business. Why are you telling them that they're wrong when we placed them there and allow this to continue on? We continue to complain about this. Now, what I want us to do is focus on the solution. So what's going to happen? no matter who goes into that position, I guarantee you they're still going into a corrupt foundation that is not going to, let's just say, dissolve or change, shift, until we as a collective command that from the quantum field. And you might say, oh yeah, I'm going to meditate, and it's just gonna, no, I'm talking about real action. I told you this is the year of action. Those of you who said, well, just me not looking at it, and coming over here, that's not going to change anything. Yes, it will actually, because when you focus on something that is constructive and solution driven and taking action, you are making change. You're not focused on this and complaining about it. You're saying, okay, this does exist. How did that happen? Well, we have to have allowed it. Right? We have to allow it. Certain things can't happen to animals or food or anything unless the collective allows it. If the collective never eats those things or allows animals to be abused, it has to stop. There's no market for it. That's how powerful we are. I want you guys to start to think about this. And this is your choice, but this is the power we wield in an amazing, wonderful community that will not have conflict. Put down your opinions and judgments about other people. If you really believe in freedom and choice, that means that you accept other people's choices. The choices that we have to really consider deeply are the ones that infringe on other people's choices and or judgment. That is not a new earth that we want to live in. So if you are judging and calling something right or wrong, you're still in the ego-based driven collective programming, all right? So if you say, well, it shouldn't be this way, then you're still making choices or decisions that somebody else is wrong. We're all here making our choices, and some of it is going into a very dark place. But what we do as a collective, if we don't want to participate in that or fuel it, must say, what am I doing here that can end that? Because then there will be nothing for them to produce for us or to use us for if we're not participating. And that's the piece that I'm talking about. So no matter who's in that position telling you what to do, there are still solutions, even if it infringes on our freedoms and choices. We always have more choices. And remember, your freedom, your idea of freedom and choices, is never telling somebody else what they can and can't do, unless that is destructive or infringes on other people's free will, right? So what's being done right here in the United States is we don't like to be told what to do. We want freedom. We were built on freedom, and so far that seems to be less and less and less of what we represent. What are we going to do? We're going to build communities. We're going to come together. We're going to have every color and every ethnicity and every economic level and education backgrounds. We're going to come together and say, you know what? We're one community. We're one community, and everybody counts. Everybody counts. What are the issues here? And how do we as a community solve those? And you could say, oh no, it's much bigger. I'm talking about billions of people versus a teeny infinitesimal little group that we call leaders. We are the leaders. Do you want to be a leader? Do it in peace and just start creating, inventing solutions, come together, create those communities. And you know what? Small communities work. Why? Because maybe this community likes to do certain things and believes in certain things, and some of it's not their thing. So instead of opposing it, you create a community over here that does certain things that, supports that. And then we share with our resources and the ideas and things with the other communities. So it's okay to be different and to hang with the people that you resonate with. But that doesn't make somebody else wrong. These coming elections are going to determine whether we really have progressed. And I'm not talking about who goes into that position, because that is not exactly, the most honest foundation, let's just say system. I worked in the financial industry for 20-some years. I was an investment banker. I quit everything. I saw what happened, and it was not based on truths or fairness or honesty or even ethics. Unfortunately, that's the case. And those who do go down that route, well, they're the minority, and they don't do very well in those systems because they get pushed out. They don't want honesty amongst them because they live in a material world and one of power and ego driven. Watch what you do. Watch what you support. Watch what you say. And if you're going into any debates, you are in separation, saying that somebody's wrong. And if you feel that you're right, then you're not in community-based thinking. I'm not talking about living like, other countries who we're all robots. I'm talking about real freedoms and choices to be who we want to be. This is a beautiful way of living that is coming into existence. I know of real communities. Actually, a friend of mine told me about one recently, and I said, nobody knows about that. And he said, no, very few people. And I said, and they keep it that way. You know why? They don't want others coming in and corrupting it, trying to seek something. Oh, I'll go here and it'll be my utopia. And they're not really into it. They just want it to produce something for them. So we're not looking for something else to do something for us. We're creating. I want you to know that these systems will not dissolve until we take charge, and not in opposition, not in violence, not in anything other than the focus on what we can create that will change and shift our planet in an amazing way. And they will follow suit. We're not here to harm anybody. We're not here to do anything that's going to focus on them as being wrong. Those people that are in those positions that make those choices to go into power and corruption are part of the matrix that we agreed to come into. This is part of the game, is that the higher frequency we go into, the more creative and more we tap into our power. And I talked about how the matrix glitch. What's the glitch? When you go into the higher frequencies of the matrix, it's a different program, because there's no such thing as time. We created time for our matrix. There's no such thing as time, so you're going to notice that time shifts. It's not reliable like it was. Why? Because you're going outside of the program now. You're going to see miracles and things happen. You're going to see manifestations like this, right? Why? Because you're going into the power of what you really are. You're stepping just outside that program, but you're still here. You got one foot out there, right? The density here that's going to continue to try and operate on the old way, and it's going to look to create conflict with other countries and fight over what? Fight over friggin' what? Aren't you tired of it? No one should ever give up their life for a side, because we as people can sit down and work this stuff out. There's resources enough for the entire planet, and many that exist that are available for everyone, that will be revealed here shortly, but not if we continue to fuel the old systems. Now, we can't get out of some of this, right? We have to function, we have to put on our air conditioner and get in our cars or whatever, but we can transition as much as we can. Whatever you purchase, whatever you speak, whatever you focus on is your contribution to either the golden era or the old regime. What are you going to do? We are not here to judge. We are not here to oppose. We are here in peace and love, compassion, and community. Create that which you can do. If it's music or poetry or writing, inspiration, podcasts, guys, come on over, create. This is an amazing community. Some of my students, spiritual students, are taking this course, Creating Online Business, and it's blowing them away. They realize this is a huge community, and it's a real training. It's very serious training. In other words, you'll have a real business, whatever you want to create. You can do it. They'll show you how, step by step. We have communities. We have very well-educated people. We have everybody in place who will help you do whatever you want, that do want this world to go into a new earth of peace and love. There are many. It's not just the little people out there like us. It's very well-educated and people in power who are waiting for the community to catch up, because they can't do it without us. They cannot do it without us. And if we support them, then they will go ahead and start to release certain things to us that we will go ahead and take part in. And then this over here, that's poisonous and destructive and abusive, will have no place on our planet. And that is how the collective overcomes. Those of you who are thinking about the next election, don't worry about it. Whoever goes in there, well, they will either be driven by our behavior, or we will go into conflict. And by the way, the lower realms love this. When the power of those of the community oppose one another and go into conflict, that's beautiful for the low densities. They love it when we are in conflict with one another, fighting about who should be in power over us. Isn't that funny? I think it's hysterical. But when we take power and we are creating, and we're saying, you can go ahead and say whatever you want to me. Okay, I'll make a choice depending on what that ultimatum is. Then I will have to do something else over here. Instead of focusing on the anxiety that it brings because you feel like you've lost something. You'll never lose anything. This is part of the decision making that we're given, the teachings that allow us to make higher choices right now in the most challenging of situations. And I guarantee you, if you go into that space, it's so beautiful. It is, and you're going to feel so free, and you're going to realize there was nothing to ever be afraid of. If you guys have ever taken Breakthrough Fear as my master course, if you're struggling with anxiety, if there are things that you really, really haven't worked through, it empowers you. We don't sit and analyze you on a couch and, talk about how horrible your life is. We talk about how amazing your life is and how everything that's happened to you is purposeful and that you can use it to be amazing and inspirational, empowered for others. Right? The more challenges you go through and the more you overcome them, the more you can teach others how to do that. And it is possible. I know some of you are very frustrated. Somebody signed up for this and sent me an email this long about all their problems and then said, you want me to spend money on this? And I'm thinking, no, I don't actually. You signed up for it. I didn't ask you to do that. I was offering it. And then their last comment was, go ahead and live your effing great life. And I thought, I will. Are you ready to live yours? I'm making a choice. I live in the same world you do, with the same challenges, and I experience the same things that you do. But you can make a choice within that experience. Do I go with this? Do I succumb to the fear? Or do I understand it's a story and programming, and that the game is, the matrix game, is to move past it, to go into a space of total empowerment. You are so powerful. You're the one. You're part of the creation of everything, the power that flows through everything. Amazing. Limitless. Playing the matrix game. Play it well, my friend. So, free stuff down in the description. However, I want you to know, Manifest Anything, my free video series, is pretty extensive and long. That's going to change. I'm going to now present something much shorter and comprehensive that's going to give you choices to take it seriously. So a lot of us, we watch this stuff and we just don't do anything. And I'm going to put everybody in a position to start making choices or not. And that will be something that I'm going to offer all of you. And it's free down here. So sign up. You're going to see it change in probably about a month from when this aired. And then we're going to open up a new program called Ignite. Ignite will give you the direction you need. I have 2 programs. One's called Total Clarity, Breakthrough Fear. Total Clarity helps you to understand the power because you don't believe it, do you? Not really. If you have any anxiety, you don't believe it. Not 100%. And so Breakthrough Fear is when I take you into your personal issues. We go into them. We see them differently. We learn how to switch out of them. We learn what they are. And then I take you into an amazing new space. Ignite is launching, and I have other coaches coming on board with me with their own specialty that'll blow your mind. It's very extensive, and it will help you to create harmony in every part of your life. And that includes what you do for a living, how you earn, and I actually help you to find that. It takes you on a journey of knowing exactly what you are and you as an individual, what it is you desire, what's your passion, how to go after that in a material world that seems like it's stopping you in every corner. This is amazing. You have the power to change the planet. You can start today. Are you ready to go with me? Because I'm counting on you, my beautiful light being. And if you don't go there, that's okay too. You're beautiful. But I know it doesn't feel good. to stay in that density, does it? Change the mind. 3 seconds to manifest anything. We're switching over. And we're going to focus here. Not that that doesn't exist, but creating this makes this obsolete, right? That's how it works. So get ready for some big changes coming up this year, and of course with our upcoming elections. It's actually quite exciting because within that, I want you to start to think about how we can function here and do amazing things coming together. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Please subscribe and share my videos anywhere you want. Let people know there's another way. There's another way. Namaste.